Welcome back to SML Total Access. I'm Primetime Triple Zero, joined by Matt and Dan. What's going on, fellas?
Not much, not much. We're back, baby. We're back again and again and again. You can't kill us.
Yeah, you can't kill it.
That's awesome. Nah, man. So let's go ahead. First down, we got to hit on it. Is Faz and QP debt? No, I'm just kidding. So, does divisions matter? I'm in a quote unquote division that they say sucks. Is it a whole iron sharpens iron thing? Or do they not really matter come playoff time? And Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't think iron sharpens iron. It's mad, and I think for the most part, you are who you are. I mean, that can vary cycle to cycle, but I think for the most part, you are who you are. I do think it matters if it's an easy division. I mean, suddenly NYT has been revived, maybe going to make the playoffs, and I think an easy division, although not as easy as I'm sure he would have liked with Dom sneaking in there as the Cardinals. But I expect him to win 4, maybe 5 games if he can steal one from Dom a year in that division. But ultimately, unless you're a fringe playoff team, I don't think it really matters. You elite guys, last year we had in Madden 22, we had the Dan and Faz and Doink in the South, and a lot of times 2, sometimes even 3 of them made the playoffs. But if you're not of that caliber and you're in a division like that, where now, instead of, maybe winning half of your division games, you automatically have 4 losses before the season starts. If you're a fringe player that's not going to win those 50-50 games all the time, you're on the outside looking in. You might have 8 losses before you can even blink. So I just think it depends on who you are. If it's really easy, obviously that matters. If you're in a weenie hut, it's anybody's game. But I don't think iron sharpens iron either. I think you are who you are.
Yeah, see, I think divisions matter a lot, no matter who you are. In fact, I would say the way that Madden has gone the last few cycles, where there's only really maybe 1 to maybe 3 bad teams out of 32. So you're talking about 29 really workable teams. I think division is probably 75% of the most important thing, more than even the team that you get. And I would say that somebody like maybe a Prime or someone else that considers themselves an elite team and are not in an elite division, that is a disadvantage. They're going to play 6 games a year and not get pushed, not get tested. Now, it might help in their dev side of things, but come playoff times, if they're not used to what someone does, or if they're not used to playing in close games, or if they just fall into a rut of bad habits because of those divisional games, then that's going to come and cost you. So I think no matter who you are, division matters a lot, and I would be one that when I'm picking or thinking of teams, I'm thinking of division even more than teams.
For me, I think it doesn't matter that much. Whether you're in a good division, it means it's going to be tough to get a great seed in the playoffs. And if you're in a bad division, you're gonna you might fall into some bad habits, but you have 11 other games in the season, and that means you play 11 other players. And at the end of the day, there's really only 4 elite players in the league. And if you're
Well, what happened to the Big Five?
well, if you're part of the Big Five, then there'd only be 4 others. But
Okay. I was just making sure you weren't dropping someone here on
well,
us.
I might be. That might be a topic for next week. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay,
But
okay.
um, at the end of the day, everybody's pretty close in talent after the Big Five. I mean, there's a middle and then there's a bottom, but I don't think it's a huge talent gap, especially when you play 11 other games. And to me, I would rather play 11 solid opponents outside of my division and then have a freaking number 1 seed, a bye week, and not worry about it. I mean, I think that's the way to go. But hey, teach his own, I
But
guess.
yeah, it's completely unrealistic. You're not going to play 11 other good teams because you're playing divisions, and so you're already chopping that down to the reality is you don't play. If you're taking 6 right off the top, the chances are you might only end up play 2 or 3 actually really good games. Where if you have a good division, you're guaranteed to play maybe 2 to 4 good games every year. So I think you're skewing the numbers a little bit there to win your argument.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? When I'm 20-0, we'll revisit this conversation. So let's move on. Second down. Who benefited from the blip and who didn't. And Dan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, this is a really good topic. I was finding a lot of teams will really benefited. I think everyone, there's a whole lot of controversy with the opt in, opt out, and there were some different things that could have happened. And I think the league owes Monty a nice little fruit basket for maybe Christmas next year because he did us all a solid. But I think a lot of teams benefited. I think we mentioned NYT already benefited. I think Prime, you benefited greatly because you are not going to win with Dane as your quarterback, even as much as you wanted to hype him up.
13-0.
You were screwed for a good
13-0.
2 or 3 seasons with him as your quarterback. You look at QP. I mean, he gets out of a division that he was just feeling like he was getting snowballed and he was drowning and he was hating life and losing to KJ and all those kind of things was just going on. He gets rebirth with the Bucks. Faz gets at least for a season gets a gunslinger type quarterback and gets to back to kind of being that threat again. So a lot of great teams out there. Some guys that really struck out. Monty's one of them, but hey, I give Monty a lot of credit for not opting out of the draft, and now he's got the Broncos in Prime's division, and that'll be fun, but probably not fun for Monty. I think Paulie, man, oh Paulie, he got the same guys except he swapped Faz for Meats, man. What a bad swap he lost out on that deal. I think Paulie is kind of regretting what that division looks like. So I think it's fun. I think it's good. I think a lot of teams benefited and a few teams didn't.
That's good.
Yeah, Dane was undefeated, but I mean, yeah, that whole rant was something else. So, but I think NYT is the clear-cut benefiter. I mean, he goes from the third best team in his division, as far as our roster goes with the Titans, but just getting steamrolled by everybody in it, to now, outside of Dom, a division that he can certainly win games in, with a team he can win games in. I think RD benefited. I think RD is a really good player. I think a lot of us that play RD know that he's a good player. I just think that was the worst roster of all time. Could he have done better? Yes, maybe. I don't know. But now he's got a Patriots team that, in my opinion, is a solid upgrade, especially for him. And I think he's going to do really good things. Obviously, all the guys at the bottom of the evals that got to keep their teams. I mean, people went from the Titans to the Cowboys and the Vikings and all those, these really good teams. So those guys really benefited. I think Clink benefited, honestly, maybe the most. There's a lot of buzz on Clinky going into this cycle. Really good user with his team last year. Really good defense. He got the Bucks. I mean, geez, what else could you ask for? And he never did anything. I think he made the playoff season 1. Daddy Leaks is gone, I think, but I think he made the playoff season 1, lost his opening game, didn't make it season 2. He just never found his rhythm. That was a really stacked team, a lot of pressure, and he wasn't performing. Now he comes to the Texans. He can say this is the worst roster of all time, which it is. I just going to get picks and draft, and there's no pressure on him. He doesn't need to perform because he's the Texans. So he benefits, no pressure. Paulie did not benefit, switching gears there. Paulie, I think Paulie likes picking in the 18 to 20 range. He kind of gets to cherry pick those easy divisions, which he did again. And I think he also waited, if I remember, and to opt out of the draft. I think he was waiting to see what his division did. And, Gutta and Biz opted in, or opted out. So he probably figured, hey, I can beat those guys. And, Meat's not going to leave the Packers. No way. Or if he does, maybe someone not as well, then he gets Faz. So, and you could just tell by all the shows that he was on that he was not happy that Faz was going to the Packers. So, Paulie definitely lost out. That's the biggest loser to me.
Yeah, I think a big winner's Dump. He got the Colts, and the Falcons weren't really a great team for him, especially. And he's taken the Colts already in a division that's not great. And he's made trades. I've been his consultant. I'll be open. I'm the Colts consultant still. They have room for me there. And he's made good trades as the owner. And I'll throw, and then here's a wild card to answer who didn't, win this. It's either going to be me or Bomber. Because by the end of the cycle, I got probably the best team in the AFC. And the AFC is weaker than it was pre-blip, in my opinion. I know Dan's got the Bills, so top end has got a good player with a great team as well. But the rest, I really, I have a great team, and I'm probably going to be favored to win just about every playoff game. And so if I don't win the Lombardi, then that's a shot on the legacy. And same for Bomber, and at least making a Super Bowl. If he's got the Eagles, let's face it, he wasn't going to win anything with the Jets. So now he's got a top 5 team that he picked, and he's going to have to win. So this benefits him because he got his team. But if he can't do anything with the Eagles, then it's going to be a shot at his legacy. So, and I know people like to make comments about the Chiefs with me and how, oh yeah, Prime didn't win anything with the Chiefs. I had like 2 seasons with them. Faz didn't do anything with the Bills in that same period of time. So it's going to be interesting, assuming we don't blip, where some of these great owners, Dan with the Bills, me with the Chargers, Bomber with the Eagles, Faz, can he win with the Packers when Rodgers is there? It's going to be interesting what he does after that. Some of these guys, elite players, are going to have elite teams. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I think there's an opportunity for some legacies to take a hit with some of these great teams that have been taken. So I don't know, it'll be interesting. Let's move on to topic 3. Lots of trades happening. Trades. Matt, what are you thinking about some of these trades?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple that I like. I like what Colt. I like what Colt did. Colt. I don't like the trade, but I think what Colt did is he went out and, if I recall, he's a Jags fan. He got Trevor Lawrence. Getting your favorite team's quarterback in real life, is that going to move the needle as far as how Colt performs in the SML? No. He got rid of an inside stuff defensive tackle or defensive lineman, which is the only lineman the Steelers have. He got rid of Devin Bush, which is a unicorn at user, which I think that's a really good trade piece, and I would have moved him too if I got that team. But he gave away, probably top 5, top 7 picks to do it. But I still like it. If it's gonna make him have fun having his Trevor Lawrence on his team, I'll do it. I like what Mike's doing. That Atlanta offense is really in a really good shape. Obviously they don't have a quarterback, but I'll get to that. But I like that he's, buffing up that defense. He's got Asante Samuel Jr., who's a really good player. I had a lot of success with him in LA. He got Kenneth Murray, who was a good player. He's not great, but he's fast, like 87 speed. I think he's young, he's devable, and he's a Sooner. So again, kind of going back to what Colt, it's his guy. I'm a little worried about what he's going to do at quarterback because he's traded a lot of his draft assets. But he seems to be okay with Ritter between that 10 to 40-yard range. But if it's less than a 10-yard throw, it sounds like he can't do it. So we'll see how that goes. Prime, I love what you're doing. I mean, you just basically swapped Asante Samuel Jr. and Jeff Okudah and then got a bajillion picks. I don't know how you got Paulie to do that, but you have your magic that you'll never share with anyone until you retire.
Yes.
Hopefully I'm still playing when you do so I can use it. I don't like what Biz is doing. All the offers he got for Fields from September to today, and that's the one he settles on. I mean, there's nothing against Quiddy Pay, but you took Dan's first. That's going to be in the 30s, and I think Dump probably makes the playoffs if he doesn't take too many losses in the forced loss. So I don't have a problem with him trading Fields, but you didn't maximize your return. I heard you got offers way better than that, and the first round picks, I'm sorry, in January just don't hold the same power that they did if he would have traded him back pre-blip.
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of trades going on, and it's kind of part of the shortened cycle that we have. Kind of looking ahead, people are maybe a little bit more aggressive on moves. I'm kind of a little disappointed you even forgot about my Edmonds versus Isaiah Simmons trade, which I think is paying off real dividends for me right now. I don't mind the Biz trade as much as most people do. I don't think we should compare the trade offers he had now to September because it's a different game, different cycle, different moment. So I don't know what kind of offers he had, but I don't think it's a bad deal. I just don't like that he didn't pair it like Prime did with getting something else in return. So Prime lost his cornerback, but already had another trade in place to get a cornerback back. That's what Biz should have done. He should have, if he makes that trade, then he uses one of those firsts and he trades it to go get a quarterback that he sees that he can use. But I like it. He just didn't complete the trade. I like what Mike's doing. I think anytime you have a chance to go for it, hey, you go for it and you make some trades. I think trade is just as good too because anytime you can swap your potential late first rounder for a potential top 10, you do it. And so with the Chargers, you got a lot of guys that you can move around, and he's still got great players out there. So I think that's exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. I think some of the smaller moves, some of the things that you see guys picking up, some cornerbacks or defensive players. I just think the more trades at this season, I think it's good, and um, I think there's still probably a good few of them out there. So let's keep them going. We got a few more weeks before the trade deadline.
Yeah, I think with these trades, a lot of people are devaluing what the draft picks are worth, in my opinion. People are like, oh, it's a shortened cycle. It's a shortened cycle. Yeah, it is. It's not 8 seasons, but it's still going to be 5 seasons. And at least for the first two, maybe 3 seasons, you could get a guy, dev him up, and if he's a superstar guy, by the last season to make one final run at this thing, he's going to have both abilities, especially the first 2 or 3 seasons. So if you get a top 10 or top 15 pick in these first 2 seasons, I mean, some of these trades are huge difference makers. I feel like some people are almost acting like this is a 2 or 3 season shot here when it's not. It's a 5 season. We go until mid to late August, assuming this thing doesn't blip again. So yeah, I mean that's a lot of time. I mean that's a lot of time. But for me, I'm looking at I like what Colt did. He traded Cam Hayward, who's an aging guy, and he got his favorite player on the Jaguars, and the Steelers needed a quarterback anyway, and he's just gonna have fun. And that's honestly to me, I think that's what CFM's about. He didn't cripple his team. He made an aggressive move for a player that he likes. That he couldn't be his favorite team, but he got a guy from his favorite team, and it fit his team. So I just kind of like that trade that it happened for him. Moving on, fourth down. It's time to share the love like we always do on Total Access. Dan, who are you sharing your love to?
Yeah, I'm gonna share my love with some guy we already mentioned a few times, but I want to go a little bit deeper into it, and that's Mike with the Atlanta Falcons and making this trade with Prime. Now, I can make a case that both guys won this trade, but we're not really going to get into that part of it as much. I want to look at it just from Mike's side, and man, Mike, I think this is a great move for you. You're going for it. You traded 2 first-round picks for guys that are pretty much guys that potentially you would draft, and that's the kind of the way that I look at some of these trades. Okay, what would you get for that pick? Well, Mike's got a star dev 22-year-old cornerback. He got a star dev, was Murray now 23 maybe. But he's getting guys that are right in that same age group as what he would draft, known commodities, known what they are. There's not the gamble. Yeah, he might be able to hit home runs with those picks, but he also might strike out with them too. And this way, he goes and gets 2 players that are going to fit right in this season, gets to use them now. It's still dev, still fit in all that spot, and he goes for it. So, Mike, I think that was a great move. I'm excited for you. I hope you keep it going. I hope you pick outside the top 10 so that it makes it worse for Prime. And I hope everyone looks back at this and says this was a defining moment for Mike's 2023 Madden career.
Yeah,
Wow.
I like what Dan said. I do the same thing. When I trade a pick, I look at if I got the guy I'm receiving in the draft with this pick, would I be happy? And I think Mike was on my list too. I think Mike would be very happy with those players, as would probably most people. I'm going to give my love and a switch from Mike just to the entire NFC South. Right now, they all have a winning record. The Panthers and the Saints are a little bit raw, especially at the quarterback position. I think that Saints defense is insane, but props to them. They're all above 500. I think they're the only division that is above 500 with all four teams. But I'm gonna go with the other side, and I'm actually gonna get my passport out and take a trip to Canada because I think that the Finns is doing something pretty good there. He's 3-0 with the Bengals. Yeah, okay, you can look at his schedule and say, okay, he probably should have won those 3 games, but it doesn't. It's not. That's not just how it works in the SML. Every game should be respected and taken seriously. He's got wins over Colt, Grams, and DW. And I play him next, so I'm excited to see. But I know he really wanted the Bengals after the blip happened. Made it very clear to me. I took them off my list. So I think he's got a team that he likes. That offense is. We talk about fun. We've talked about fun on this show, which I think we forget in the great Madden landscape. But he's going to have fun with this team. He loves Burrow. He loves Mixon. He loves Chase. I think that he can mold that defense a little bit. He's already upgraded. I think 2 guys on the defense. I think he's already got 2 dev games. We might want to look into that. Prime actually, we'll jot that down. He might be cheating, but I love what Fins is doing, and I would love to. I think he's a contender for this division. We talk about, does division matter for a guy like Fins? I think it does. I think he's got a real shot to win this division.
Yeah, no, that's good. For me, I'm spreading the love to Monty. He's coming in chat the last week or so, and he's going hard at me. He's tagging me. He's in my DMs actually. Just about, I think it was like 2 or 3 days in a row. He was talking trash to me. It's kind of adorable. Like it's like a young little Chihuahua coming up, barking at the big dog, and ignorance is bliss. And I love the competitive spirit by Monty. But I feel like in a way he's walking down a tunnel, not knowing that a train's coming that's gonna smash him, but he's still happy anyway. And I see that, and I'm just happy that he's coming in and he's ready to fight, ready to throw down. And I think we're gonna play in like 2 or 3 advances, and it's gonna be. Trust me, I'm gonna have a fun game with that one. And yeah, I just like that Monty's going all in to try to make it something. So yeah, I'm spreading the love to Monty.
You want to make a guarantee? You going to guarantee a score difference, or how much you're going to score, or what the game's going to be?
I'm going to win at least 10 to 14 points at least. He's a solid player, Monty is, but
you're going to put up 50 on him?
At least 40.
Okay.
Okay. He's the Broncos defense is good, and he's improved as a defensive player. So I'm not taking him lightly, but you know, it gets different. It's a little bit different when you start poking the bear. So he's gonna learn, but I'm spreading the love for him for trying.
Nice.
Yeah, we saw this before though. He beat you pre-blip with the last, or not the last season because you were undefeated, but he beat you season 2 or whatever, and he started chirping like he just won the Super Bowl, and he was all in chat. Oh, I beat the GOAT, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Then he loses like 5 of his next 6 to the most random people, and then he disappears and starts talking about his bets again.
Yeah.
So keep it up, Monty.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I still have those screenshots from then, and I have the screenshots from now. So it's going to be a fun game. Let's move on to the extra point. Matt, what do you got for us?
Yeah, it's nice. I think the last time I did this, I was rating Christmas movies, and so it's nice to actually have some SML action to talk about. My honorable mention, I gotta go Fins. I do not have him on this list. Trust me, I thought about it, but ultimately I went with RD at 5. I know RD is only 2-0. But I played RD week 1. He's different. It's different. I don't think this team is that bad. They've got edge threat with Judon. They've got Uchi on the other side. He's got a pass rush. He's got a decent secondary. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I think RD might be back to being a serious playoff contender and threat. At number 4, I've got Monty. He's undefeated. And so he's playing good football. I've watched his games. He's playing really well, especially defensively, and that's a really good defensive team. I mean, they might have taken a lot of hits based on their real life performance, especially the quarterback Russell Wilson. But Surtain, Simmons, that's not a terrible defense. And Monty's maximizing that. At number 3, I've got Dan. Obviously, Dan 3-0 with a very good Buffalo team. I need a signature win from Dan, which he'll get a chance week 8 against Faz. And the only reason I have QP ahead of them, so I've got QP at 2. The only reason I have QP ahead of Dan, they're both 3-0, obviously elite players, is QP has the win over Faz. He's got the signature win. So, if Dan goes in, if we're talking they're both undefeated come week 8 and Dan beats Faz, obviously this could change. And then number 1, I mean, Prime was number 1 when we left off after the blip or before the blip. He hasn't lost a game. I don't even know the last time you lost a game. So you're number 1 until that happens. So I've got Prime. I know that Chargers team well. When Bean was in, I think that game went to overtime, if I recall. Was that right, Prime?
Yeah.
And Bean had a drive, and he just acted like Khalil Mack didn't exist, and Khalil Mack just ate him for lunch. He sacked him, I think, on 2 consecutive downs. He ended up having to punt. I think it just brought back all the memories of the things that Khalil Mack did for me, and he can single-handedly into drive, into game. And I think Prime's a force to be reckoned with. And I'm not even getting into Herbert. Just with that defense, I think he's a force to be reckoned with.
Thank you. I think that list is great. I think that was perfect.
Matt, come on, man. I call out these biases, and it's just ha ha ha. That is the most biased BS lines of Matt Five that you've ever given. How in the world can you look at Prime, who goes to overtime against a Trevor Lawrence less Jaguars as the number one team? I could handle if you put QP there because he just beat Faz, but to have me at third when you say you can't remember when Prime
Oh,
lost, you know how many games I've won in the SML in a row, Matt? Do you have any idea how many in a row I've won?
Dan,
wow.
I don't care. I played you, and
25 games in a row. I haven't lost.
Dan,
What more do I have
Dan,
to
I
do?
Dan, I played you. I threw for like 400 yards, and
Oh.
I a lot of times my monitor's not even on, and I mean,
Matt,
a good player
Matt,
is going to smoke you.
Yeah. Sorry.
I let you throw for 400 yards because
Oh,
I wanted to
okay,
see what my offense could do.
Oh my God.
okay.
You think I would put one-on-one coverage with Waddle and Hill if I took you serious? Come on,
Well, you did
Matt.
it about
Come
six
on. I
times.
didn't take you serious.
Oh
I didn't
man.
take you
Jeez.
serious because I knew I could score every single time I had the ball.
I think Matt struck a nerve there. But hey, the truth is that Dan's
Yeah,
number 3 right now, and that's just the honest truth. You know,
yeah. I'd like to see Dan play a game on it with 102 temp. He's probably 98.6 every single game where
yeah,
he doesn't
yeah,
play.
yeah, for
So
sure. The one time he played with a bit of a fever, actually, I played him,
Listen,
and
I,
it was a
my
COVID.
temperature's like 85 every time I play because I'm as cool as the other side of the
Do
pillow,
you
boys.
jeez.
do you remember when you got the COVID vaccine and you played with a headache or something?
Yeah,
Dude,
when you forced me to play
no,
because you were worried about
uh-uh.
the league moving
I
on, and you
have
forced me to
I
play.
have
I
the
remember that.
screenshots. Do you want me to post the screenshots in chat after this?
Yeah,
You
I'll post anything I
I'll
said because I know the facts.
I'll go post them. And
Yep.
I was like we can play them tomorrow. I was driving home from work and you're like, "No, I'm feeling better. We'll play tonight." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then after the
Okay.
game, then you're like, "Ooh, I was feeling a little dizzy or something." I don't know what you came up with.
Context, baby, context.
So,
Anyone that watched that game and will see the first quarter when I was colorblind throwing passes I've never thrown before, you'll understand that. You'll
yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well, the truth is Dan's number 3, I'm number 1. Dan, we'll see if we meet up in the AFC Championship game and settle it, unless if Matt beats you. But
It probably won't. I'll probably still be number two if I beat you. That's all right. I just got to live with that fact. I'll beat you in the playoffs, and I'll still Prime's number one. Prime's the greatest.
Well, guys, that's SML Total Access. That's Matt, Dan, and I'm Prime. Guys, thanks for watching.